much of an adjustment was it for your offense without Jure Foster?
You know, sometimes when it happens in the middle of the game, or the beginning of the game, like at Wichita, you just kind of flow through it. But then my experience has been it always makes it a little bit difficult the next game and the next game and the next game. You know, it's sort of like in the middle of a game, guys just adjust or whatever, and it's a huge loss. It's a huge loss. We have 3 returning players, and he's one of them, and now he's not. Well, he wasn't there tonight. We've had bad luck with Tulane. We didn't have Ethan at Tulane. We didn't have Jure when we played here. I hope we don't play Tulane again. They're jinxing us, for gosh sakes. But I am hopeful. You know, it's hopeful that he won't be out long, and that would certainly be great news.
See a bigger absence on the offensive or defensive end of the floor?
It depends on the night. Depends on the night. You know, he's such a winner. Some nights he scores a lot of points. Sometimes he's unbelievable rebounder, shot blocker, defender, talker, you know, all the little things, and sometimes he does a lot of big things, and he's a great player, and he's a great winner, and he's done an awful lot quietly and not so quietly, both, to help us win an awful lot of games in the last couple of years. So, you know, big loss. But I want to, you know, we had some guys, well, really proud. First of all, you're coming off 2 years in a row. We played Tulane at home, coming off a pretty big win. Last year we played Cincinnati here, played Tulane. This year we're at Wichita. We come here, and as you can well see, Tulane is a really good basketball team. I think they just broke into the top 100, well deserved. They are. They're really good. So much improvement over last year. They are a tough out. I don't care. And we struggled shooting the ball early on. Obviously, Shake did what I've seen a million guys do, have a career night, and the next night just struggle mightily. But in his case, how great was he down the stretch? He just willed, you know, things to happen. But what a great competitor. But I mean, look at some of the other performances. My gosh, Jimmy Witt was amazing. And when we're, you know, really struggling, he gets his hands on, I think, 4 balls in a row. I don't know if I've seen that one in a college game against a team this good. Changed the game, changed the momentum. Incredible, great scoring game that he had, but he did a lot of other things. So happy to see Okoye. This is a start of what I've been saying for months and months, that no one here has seen Okoye. I have, because I watched so much film on him when we recruited him, but he's out 5 months, and then he was out first day of practice, and he's not the, you know, that's what's so frustrating to him is what you see is not who he really is. But tonight was a start, and I hope he can stay healthy, and I hope we can continue to build on that. He was a big factor tonight, without question. And Benny Malagu, I mean, gosh, he gets 9 rebounds, did some really right in the guts of the second half, made some big plays that were actually scouting report plays, just, you know, because he's smart and he's following at things that we felt like we had to do. And he did a few things that were really big for us. But I love it. I love the game, hard fought, tough game. We've got, you know, some handicaps with Jure out and some foul trouble late, and just in the end kind of willed ourselves to win. And to me, those are the best kind.
You talked about Shake with his slow start, at least shooting-wise, and then willing things to happen down the end. What changed? What did you and your staff
one thing we tried to get him, well, you know, he was on the ball. You know, he's been playing on the ball. He's been playing a point. Let's say that. He's been playing point a lot lately. We put him on the ball. He was sensational at Wichita. Melvin Frazier is an incredible on-the-ball defender. And not to say that on another night, Shake couldn't have had a better night on the ball, but finally, we just felt like, hey, we'll get him off the ball, and that he's done that. You know, he's done both his whole life. He can score on the ball, he can score with it, without it, and I think it helped him get off the ball and you know, get some catch and shoot, or get some closeouts on him, instead of just having the whole defense staring at him and Melvin Frazier crawling up and setting the ball screen and hard hedging and putting all that pressure on him. But you know, made some tough plays, some tough shots. And you look up at the end. I mean, I had no idea 20 in the end. I can't even believe that. But given how many I knew he had for a while, and And not always is that going to be good news for us, but so many guys did well. I mean, the young guys did their part. You know, they played their role. They didn't try to overplay their role. And sometimes that can happen too, where they're a little bit overzealous, but they didn't. They did what they had to do, helped us win, and it was a good Saturday late afternoon.
Tulane made 12 of their first 24 attempts from three-point range.
Not their MO, by the way.
No, but what do you think it is that allowed them to get those looks?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but we're in a zone. Okay, so zones cause a lot of threes. They're not a great three-point shooting team, and you know, you always have to look and say, okay, what is your depth and what are your matchups? If you go into a game, how are you going to match up? And we've already been thin, as you know, you well know. Our numbers are thin and our experience is very low. So, you know, you've got to make sure that you're have the ability to match up. And certain teams are harder than others because they post like everybody on their team. So now they can put your people in foul trouble. So you risk that, and then of course you have to protect foul trouble when you're very thin. And you know, everybody knows that if you play zone, then you have a chance to protect far better than you do if you play man. So, you know, and they were hot. They usually don't shoot the ball that well. They played Connecticut. They played in a zone most of the time. I think they scored 50, 60 points. Didn't shoot the ball that well. But they just picked today to really shoot the ball well. Did a great job. And Frazier, I think, has made 5 threes in the conference so far, in the whole conference. But you probably know that. But he's made 5 or 6. Tonight he made 6. So, you know, it happens. It happens, you know, and you never know where a fire is going to break out.
Against a team that's relatively taller like Tulane, how does having DeRay Foster out hurt you defensively?
Well, right there, we felt like it's a hard matchup. Their best player, you know, I mean, their best 2 players, let's say it that way. Reynolds is a 6'8" 4-man, and he takes the most shots. Frazier takes the second most shots. So you're looking at a 6', 7, or 8 guard in Frazier, and you're looking at a 6'8" 4-man in Reynolds, and we're looking at a 6'5" 4-man now with, you know, hard to back it up. And then at the 3, you're looking at, well, it's either Jimmy at 6'3" or it's Shake, who's not really, I wouldn't call him a 3-man, and then there's Jamal. So, you know, you look at it, Tulane is a very big team. We're not a very big team. They haven't been a great shooting team, so you make that decision, and the decision paid off. You know, they only rebounded the ball 6 offensive rebounds. So you got to look at the sum total. You know, if they shoot every ball in and they rebound every ball and you foul like crazy, then that zone was really ineffective. But they shot 14 free throws, which is very low. They got 6 offensive rebounds. And we live with some threes, you know, and especially we're living with threes from a guy that's really not his MO.
You mentioned Cameron Reynolds. When you met in New Orleans, he put up 20 points. Tonight you hold him to 9 on 3 of 11 shooting. Was it a matter of
I think it's a zone. Yeah, he didn't get to, you know, they run a lot of stuff for him, a whole bunch of stuff for him. And DeRay is, you could argue, I hate to say the best, but arguably our best defender, and he guarded him a lion's share of the game. He still did work. And now without him, you know, you're one step thinner. We have 3 really experienced guys. You want to try to keep them in the game, of course, and well, 2 tonight. But so now you don't want to get Benny Malagu in foul trouble, because now you're down 2 of your experienced players. Now you got 1, and so you got to be careful of that. So we're going to have, but that doesn't mean every game, of course. We're going to look at each. You know, what are our matchups? Can we play man to man? We've always been a man to man team, but this is a different deal. You know, we're short on numbers. We're on probation, and we got injuries and illness. You know, Everett got hurt in warm-ups, for gosh sake. He just got healthy and got hurt. So we got DeRay out, we got Everett out, and we're sitting there looking at, what is that, 8 guys total. Again, you know, we got and not 8 guys that have played a ton of major college basketball. So, you know, we're gonna have to scheme, put it that way, every game. We're gonna have to put a lot of work in, which we have. We put a lot of work in for Wichita. We put a lot of work in for this. we're going to put a lot of work in for Connecticut. It may not always be the perfect answer, because when you don't have all the, you know, when you're mixing and matching a little bit, there's always risk. But to just say, hey, let's just go line up with bad matchups and very little depth, I think that's not a great strategy. So we're going to have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of planning.
What happened to Everett pregame?
He just sprained his ankle, I guess.
Again?
I wasn't out there, but yeah,
Okay.
his other one. So I don't know how severe, but you know, when it rains, it sometimes pours.
Yeah.
But crazy.
Any word on the severity or when you expect him or Jure back?
I know. Hadn't heard that much about Everett, other than right before the game they told me he's not available. And I'm like, I mean, you know, that was a little bit of a shock because it happened in warm-up. You don't hear that very often. But Jure's honestly responding quicker than maybe we would have thought initially. We're hoping he's back soon. His spirits are really good. The way he's moving around is pretty good. We're going to continue to do tests and analyze, but I'm fairly optimistic. Fairly, put a big fairly on that. But I've been, you know, you've been around injuries enough. I was injured a number of times, and your body just kind of knows. Your body knows that, and you know your body when you're an athlete, and the way he's kind of moving around, the way he's acting, I hope that it's going to be a short term and not a long term.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Well, you heard it. That's the comments of Coach Jim Yankovic of SMU. You just saw SMU took down Tulane, and he was talking about today's game and also some injuries that his SMU Mustangs will have to fight through. And going forward, they'll have to fight through a lot. They got Connecticut coming up on Thursday night, and next Sunday at home against East Carolina. So they got some work to do, but at least they have some have a victory to which they could build on. Actually, a 2-game winning streak they can build on too. Final score here at Moody Coliseum: SMU 73, Tulane 62. Thank you for watching the Donnie Sport Hoops Action More Show with the SMU Mustangs. More coming up with the SMU Mustangs. Keep it here on the Donnie Sport 17 Network.